Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, believed that our journey through the first 4 decades of life is not the main story, but merely a preparation. Life truly begins at 40, he asserted. Before that, you are only conducting research. This bold statement challenges how most people perceive aging. We are taught to fear age, to view middle age as a period of decline and chaos. Mass culture is rife with cliches about the so-called midlife crisis, a time of existential anxiety, impulsive decisions, and desperate attempts to cling to youth. In modern society, this is especially. However, Jung offers a radically different perspective. What if this stage of life is not a crisis at all, but an awakening? What if it is not an end, but a new beginning? While there is a saying in Russian culture that 40 years is a woman's age, modern psychology completely refutes this outdated view. On the contrary, studies show that many people reach the peak of their creative and professional potential after 40. Statistics confirm that numerous outstanding achievements in art, science, and business occur at this age or even later. Imagine the first 40 years as an exploratory phase, a time when we accumulate experience, form an identity, and learn to understand how the world works. This is a period of rapid growth where we absorb ideas and values from the people and culture around us. Like the Russian saying, the first pancake is always a lump, our initial attempts to find ourselves, build a career, and create relationships are essential for our development. Each mistake, disappointment, and unsuccessful experience becomes part of our personal foundation, upon which a more conscious and fulfilling life will later be built. This is also a time of searching. Who am I? What should I do with my life? What will make me happy? These questions drive us in our youth. We are like wanderers in a fog, trying to find our path. There is a wise Russian proverb, live a century, learn a century, which is particularly relevant in the context of Jung's theory of personality development. This process of continuous learning and self-discovery does not stop with age. Rather, it gains new depth and meaning. As we approach 40, our priorities begin to shift. Career growth, meeting societal expectations, and chasing status begin to lose their power. We realize that much of what we did was shaped by others' definitions of success and happiness. As the saying goes, if you live someone else's life, you won't find your own. This is a time of profound reevaluation of values, where external achievements give way to internal discoveries, and the pursuit of success transforms into a search for meaning and authenticity. Modern research in neuropsychology confirms Jung's observation. By 40, the human brain reaches an optimal balance between emotional and rational thinking. We become more resilient to stress, better understand ourselves and others, and are capable of making more informed decisions. This is a time when quantity finally turns into quality. Researchers note that people at this age demonstrate the highest levels of emotional intelligence, strategic thinking ability, and complex decision-making skills. Our brain seemingly reaches its optimal operating system, combining experience with flexibility of thought. Jung called the process of maturation individuation, becoming a complete person and living life on one's own terms. This is not a sudden change. It happens gradually, often starting with quiet questions. Is this all there is? Am I living the life I truly want? As the saying goes, go slower, you'll get further. This process requires patience and inner work. In the process of individuation, we learn to integrate different aspects of our personality, accept our strengths and weaknesses, and find a balance between social expectations and internal needs. In middle age, a profound reevaluation of values takes place. If in youth we are driven by ambition, competition, and a desire to prove something, we now begin to value other things such as authenticity, connection with oneself and others, and meaning. Life becomes less about doing and more about being. It's like a person stops chasing mirages and finds genuine oases. Many at this age discover new horizons. Someone starts writing books, someone masters a new profession, and someone finds their calling in helping others. What matters is not exactly what a person chooses, but that this choice becomes truly conscious and personal. Studies show an interesting paradox. People after 40 often report higher levels of life satisfaction than those in their 20s and 30s. They worry less about the opinions of others and better understand their true desires and needs. As Leo Tolstoy said, all happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Similarly, each person finds their unique path to happiness. It is often in middle age that we discover that happiness is not the result of achieving external goals, but the ability to live in harmony with oneself and the world around us. Psychologists note that after 40, people often experience a kind of liberation from the social masks and roles they wore in their youth. Saying no to what does not correspond to internal values and yes to new opportunities and experiences. This is a time when we finally understand that we are not obliged to meet someone else's expectations or follow the scenarios of success prescribed by society. Middle age is not the beginning of the end, but the beginning of something deeper and more real. It's a time when we really live in the moment. Perhaps the scariest thing is to fully accept yourself, but it is also the most liberating. At this age, we finally understand the deep wisdom of the Russian saying, "Wherever you were born, you are needed there." Not in the literal sense of being tied to a place, but in the metaphorical sense of finding oneself and one's true purpose. It's only by being true to your genuine nature that you can do so. This is a time not of fading, but of flourishing, not the end of the road, but the beginning of a new, more meaningful and authentic phase of life.